And U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio faced tough questioning from the Senate Foreign Relations Committee on U.S. policy towards Venezuela.
And it didn't end there. He was also questioned on issues related to Iran and China. As soon as Rubio started speaking in the Senate hearing, a voice of dissent rose from the back. A person carrying a poster that read "Hands off Venezuela." He stood up in protest.
After a brief interruption, U.S. Secretary of State started speaking on Venezuela. He said Maduro was given multiple opportunities to surrender and leave Venezuela, but he refused to do so.
He's just simply not a guy you can make a deal with. He had no intent of keeping it. What he wanted to do was tap us along and buy 3 years of time until he could deal with a new administration that he thought may be more favorable, etc.
He toned down on the possibility of fresh military action on Venezuela, but without denying the possibility of it.
Look, the president never rules out his options as commander-in-chief to protect the national interest of the United States. I can tell you right now with full certainty, we are not postured to, nor do we intend or expect to have to take any military action in Venezuela at any time. The only military presence you'll see in Venezuela is our Marine Guards at an embassy. Okay, that is our goal.
Well, Rubio also spoke on the removal of top Chinese general on the charges of corruption. Remember, reports also said that Xi's close aide General Zhang Yuxia leaked Beijing's nuclear secrets to the United States.
This is, I think, part of a pattern we've seen over the last few years, which is a purge of leaders in their military. They're spending a lot of money on their military, and obviously some of these guys are stealing that money, and they're trying to address that. So it's an issue internally in their system.
U.S. Secretary of State also faced questions on Trump administration's NATO policy. Marco responded, saying there is no NATO without United States.
This morning when I was in a panel, I want to thank you again for what you did since coming in.
Our partners understand the importance of the U.S. presence in NATO. Without the U.S., there is no NATO. And we understand that in order for NATO to be stronger, our partners need to be stronger.
And for more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani sent us this report from New York. Take a look.
U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio expanded on U.S. policy toward Venezuela at a Senate hearing, linking it to broader national security priorities for the United States. He defended the Trump administration's oil revenue plan, where sanctioned Venezuelan oil sales are overseen by the U.S. Treasury and used to fund essential services as part of his strategy to stabilize the country during this period of transition. He portrayed Venezuela under Maduro as a base for U.S. adversaries, including Iran and Russia, saying removing Maduro was necessary. He also talked about Iran, describing the regime probably weaker than it has ever been amid economic pressure and the recent protests, underscoring U.S. scrutiny of Tehran's actions as the war of words between Tehran and Washington escalates and as U.S. military buildup in the region continues to make headlines. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION The World.